Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I am sat down because we are going to play with some makeup. So this is a palette that I've actually had for quite a while now. I have used it once but not to do like a full test, review, see how the shadows are really. So that's what we're doing today. So this is the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory palette by Storybook Cosmetics. They have a whole load of different quirky palettes, just like this one. They have a Mean Girls one, they have Harry Potter ones, they have loads and loads and loads on their website. I actually just checked and this has been discounted by quite a lot actually, from $55 to $15. So if anybody wants to get their hands on this, then I will leave the link to the website in the bio. You can check that out. And this is not sponsored, it's not an ad. I think it's really, really nice. The packaging is just lovely. You can see it looks like a book, it opens like a book. It's just really, really pretty. So like I said, the palette opens just like a book. So you open up inside and they have a golden ticket. Isn't that so cute? Wonka golden ticket, 1st of February, 10 AM. Many wonderful surprises await you. See, with packaging, I know I'm such a sucker for packaging, but this is like one of the little quirky things that I like that just make it all the more real. Inside the palette, there is this big mirror here, and then they have all of these lovely shades. Now, they're quite big pans, actually. There's 3, 6, 9, 12 pans, and they all have the names of the characters. So you can see here this lovely white silvery shimmer is Charlie Bucket. There is Snozberries, Augustus Gloop. Mike TV is this really nice blue shade, and I think I might use that today. They have this sort of deep purpley shade, Willy Wonka. Oompa Loompa obviously had to be an orange. I mean, come on. There is the Fizzy Lifting Drink, Veruca Salt, Everlasting Gobstopper, Violet Beauregard, Wonka Bar and Golden Ticket. So really quirky, really nice. I'm quite excited about this one actually, I must say. So let's zoom in and get started. Okay, so like always I'm going to first start priming. This is the Shape Tape from Tarte. And I'm just going to go ahead and take that all over the eyelid. Okay, now that that's on, I'm really in two minds. There's so many lovely shades in here. So I think I'm going to start by taking this shade Oompa Loompa in the crease and use that sort of as a transition shade. Now, I don't know about you guys, but growing up watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original 1971 version with Gene Wilder, it was great and I loved it, but it was a little bit terrifying at times. First of all, when Charlie, you know, gets the golden ticket, he finds it in the shop, and the shop owner tells him, you know, like, run home, like, don't stop for anybody, don't give anybody your ticket. And so little Charlie's running past all these people and they're offering him hundreds of pounds and all these amazing things, and he just keeps going and going. And then out of nowhere, this creepy man, Slugsworth, kind of pulls Charlie into an alley and he's offering him all these things. A little bit creepy, Slugsworth, not gonna lie. Bit creepy. Kinda terrified me a little bit. And then you like find out in the end that it was all a big test and Slugsworth's actually one of Wonka's like most trusted henchmen or whatever. But yeah, bit creepy, I must say. But also, I guess, kind of good test to see if Charlie was worthy or not. I mean, Wonka knew what he was up to, he knew. Okay, fab. I actually really like that shade, Oompa Loompa. It's not like too bright orange, it's quite subtle actually. I think that's going to be a good transition shade. Now next I'm going to take the red shade, which is called Snozberries. Who ever heard of Snozberry? Little Miss Veruca Salt, being the brat that she was. Oh, she was piece of work, wasn't she? She was kind of hard work, Veruca Salt. She's like, Daddy, I want it. Her dad's just like, okay, okay, why not? Tell you what I would have got if I acted that way. Okay, that red shade is on, and again, not too in your face, but the pigment is there. Really quite nice, actually. So far, I'm really liking this palette. There is a tiny bit of kickback in the pan, but it's nothing major. Not any different than any other palette, really, I would say. It's looking pretty good so far. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this crease now. Again, doing that little trick, if you've watched any other makeup videos from me, you'll have seen me doing this before, but you just stamp the concealer on, look up, and that gives you a really rough idea of where you want to cut the crease. Now, I guess that kind of is going over where I just placed that red, but we can go back and neaten that up a little bit. Yeah, that it totally covered up where I just put that red, but we will come back to that in a minute. Okay, now I'm going to dip into this blue shade, Mike TV. This is going to be quite an outrageous look here, I think. Oh wow. Hello, pigment. That blue, wow. That is so pigmented and so bright. Really liking that. So, Mike TV, I mean, one of the 5 children that were chosen to visit the chocolate factory, but he just, I mean, I think they all had their issues in different ways. Like Augustus Clip was really greedy and he just wanted to eat everything, and Veruca Salt was just a bit of a brat, really. Violet Beauregard just was very competitive, but I mean, I don't think Mike TV really had any sort of terribly negative personality traits. Like, he just wanted to sit at home and play the computer, play the video games all day, which I guess back in the 70s when this first came out probably was kind of unusual, probably frowned upon quite a bit, but if you think forward to modern times, not that unusual. And I don't think poor little Mike TV really did or said anything that was, again, horrendously bad. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I can remember, he just wasn't really interested in the chocolate factory. He just wanted to go home and play his games. I mean, that's fair enough. Okay, that blue is so bright and so vivid, but I am going to go back in with the shade Oompa Loompa and just take that a little bit higher. Let's talk about the Oompa Loompas. In the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, they were obviously real people, and there were, I think, 5 or 6 of them. Now, they were all various different heights and sizes and everything, and that's the song that they did. It was just so catchy. I loved it. That was probably one of my favourite parts, actually, of the film when I was growing up. But in the remake, the Oompa Loompas are all just like the one person who has been, like, I don't know, they do like the effects to make it seem like there's hundreds of them, I guess, which makes sense. Again, back in the 70s they probably didn't have the technology to do that, which is totally fine. But yeah, the Oompa Loompa song in the original was really funny. I do like the Oompa Loompas songs in the new and the remake of the film. They do a lot of different songs in that film. They do different songs like Per Child. They all have like a personalised song about them. I guess if you've watched it you know what I'm talking about, but in the original they just had like the one Oompa Loompa doo 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 doo. And does anybody think that the Oompa Loompas knew what was going on the whole time, or do you think they were just doing their Oompa Loompa jobs and going about their day as usual and they had no idea? Or do you think Wonka sat them down like, everybody, conference, here's what's happening, we're trying to find the new muse to take over? and then they had to keep an eye out and feed back. I don't know. So I'm just going back in with that shade Snosberry, just deepening up that crease a little bit. Now I did take this cut crease quite high here, but I actually kind of like it, I must say. Okay, here is how the eye is looking so far. I think that's looking pretty good just now, so I'm going to go ahead, jump off to the other eye and my base off camera, and then we'll come back and finish up these eyes. Hello, I'm back. Okay, so I just went for a really natural base, a really natural brow. I used the Sof Revolution lipstick in shade Fudge. Now actually, I think that might be a little bit dark. Probably should have gone for a more nudie tone, but we'll see. I might lighten it up. Now, I haven't done a highlighter yet because I was thinking, why not use this shade here, Charlie Bucket. This looks like a really nice bright shimmer shade. So I'm just taking my Mario Badescu spray and give my face a little spray so that highlighter will apply better. And just taking sort of a little tiny highlighter brush here. Going to dip straight into that shade, Charlie Bucket. Let's see. Okay. I mean, it's not super blinding, but in contrast you can see I'm having a bit of a breakout here. Just ignore that. But quite subtle. Let's try on a different brush. Let's try this fan brush and see if that makes a difference. Not bad. It's not the most blinding, but I think the base is quite natural anyway, so I think that's pretty good. Just also going to add a little bit on the nose. Yeah, kind of subtle, but I quite like it. Would I wear it every day? Probably not, but I do quite like it. Now I'm also going to take that shade Charlie Bucket and use it as an inner corner highlighter. This time I'm going to spray the brush just to make that really pop. Now let's talk about Mr. Charlie Bucket for a second. So as we know from the film, Charlie grew up living with his parents and all 4 of the grandparents, all in one house. Now they were poor, you know, they just had like cabbage soup to eat. Didn't really have much going for them, the Bucket family. But let's talk specifically about the grandparents. Now, they were allegedly bedridden for 20 years. I mean, I don't know how that happens. Like, I don't know how you just wake up one day and you're like, oops, I'm bedridden. Unless you have obviously a serious accident. But all 4 grandparents, all at the same time, were all bedridden in the one bed. I don't know about you guys, but that seems a little bit suspicious to me. Especially the part where good old Grandpa Joe jumps up and gives us an old tap dance and bursts into song dancing around the room. Now obviously, I mean, you've been bedridden for 20 years, an exciting thing like a trip to a chocolate factory is going to be like next level excitement, right? You haven't left your bed for 20 years. But I don't know if he would really was that ill that he was bedridden. I think I'm calling a big BS on that one. We see you, Grandpa Joe. And I don't know, I would like a little bit more of a backstory on why the grandparents were bedridden and why they all 4 shared the one bed. I know it's part of the storyline, right, but I'm just curious. I would just like to know. Okay, so I used that shade Charlie Bucket as an inner corner highlight, but also here under the brow bone, and honestly I actually really quite like that. Very nice. Okay, let's zoom you back in and we'll finish up these eyes. So I've been debating about whether I should do a liner or not, and I think it really needs it to just tie this look all together. So using my Soap and Glory Super Cat liner, I'm just gonna, oh, I can't do this without looking very closely in a mirror, so just bear with me one sec. Much better. Much better. Okay, now let's see if I can replicate that on the other eye. Okay, cool. That's looking pretty even to me. Now, mascara, I'm jumping in with the Tarte Opening Act Lash Primer first. And this just gives so much more volume and length. Okay, and for mascara, I'm taking the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara. An old tried and true. Okay, see, that made all the difference. Okay, let's do these under eyes now. I was thinking to do blue under. I think let's dip back into that red shade, Snozzberries. Now, one thing I didn't talk about yet was that boat. That scary, terrifying boat. Now, if you've seen the original movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just after they all go into like the main chocolate room. The late great Gene Wilder sings, you know, the song, the Imagination song, and they're all running around tasting all the treats. And then good old Augustus Gloop gets sucked up the pipe. Now, honestly, no sympathy. Willy Wonka told him not to do it. He told him not to touch the chocolate river. It could not be touched by hand, and only the Oompa Loompas could do it. Augustus Gloop did not listen. So, honestly, do I think he deserved to be sucked up a pipe and taken God knows where? Probably not. That might have been a bit harsh. But it's kind of his own fault. He was warned not to do it and he did it. But anyway, the next part with the boat. Horrifying. Horrifying. So they've just finished up. Augustus has been sucked away, and next thing this boat appears and they all get on. But one thing I did notice as I got older was there were only enough seats for the people who were left. Suspicious. It's almost like Willy Wonka knew that that was going to happen. I'm not saying he planned it or anything, but now that is quite bright under the eye, so I'm going to go back into that and take a little bit more of that in the crease. But yeah, that boat traumatised me. He was singing that creepy song and all the flashing images of people like eating bugs and everything. Not a fan, not a fan. And something else I just thought of just now as I'm blending. In the original movie, at the very end, Charlie and Grandpa Joe make it to the end. They go into Wonka's office and he seems like he can't care less, but it was all an act. Anyway, and they go in the glass elevator and they blast through and everything. Happy ending. But in the original movie, the rest of the participants we never see again. Whereas in the remake, it shows you at the end them all coming out and like Violet Beauregarde is like all stretched out and still blue from being a blueberry and everything like that. But in the original we don't see that, so it makes you wonder what happened. Were they just quietly treated and then dismissed and nobody knew? Like, did they have to sign a non-disclosure? Confidentiality forums or something? Or were they lost in the factory and never seen again? Did the Oompa Loompas take care of them? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, just very quickly to finish up here, I'm just going to tideline this bottom waterline. Okay guys, here is the finished look. So I actually really like how this turned out. I know it is very, very bright and very bold, but I really like it. So overall thoughts on the palette. The packaging, amazing. Can't fault that in any way. Beautiful, beautiful packaging. Really, really nice. Obviously they have also credited the author of the original story, Roald Dahl, so that's really good. Now for the palette itself, like I said, it comes with this big mirror inside, so that's perfect if you're travelling or anything. And the shades, can't fault them. As you can see, very, very good pigment, especially this blue shade, Mink TV. Big fan of that one. I think I'll definitely be using that again. All the shades obviously are named after characters or events from the book slash movie. So really, really nice, really quirky, and as you can see, very, very minimal kickback, very minimal fallout. So again, formula, very, very good. So overall, can't fault it. I really like this palette. I really like the formula, the pigment, the shades, everything. So thumbs up from me. Really enjoyed this. And like I said in the beginning, this is actually currently discounted to $15, which is incredible. 15, amazing. So I'm going to link that below. Like I said, it's not sponsored, it's not an ad, nobody's paying me to say this. I'm not making any money on this. I just really, really like it, and I think you guys will too. So if you do want to save quite an extreme amount of money, definitely check that out, and check out their other palettes because I'm sure they will be equally as satisfying. I know the Mean Girls one is also discounted. I think the Harry Potter one is currently sold out, but you never know, it might be back in stock. So there we go guys. Overall look and review, love it, thumbs up. So if you did enjoy this one and you liked the makeup too, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe because I post new videos every Monday and Friday. And if you want to see any more behind the scenes type things, any other makeup looks that I do, you can follow me over on Instagram at Nicola Savage 22. Okay, everyone take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.